we are jumping onto game number 3, match point for Team PH.
Battle for gold and who's going to stay at the silver. We definitely saw how good both of the teams, and this might be the last chance for Vietnam to keep the dream alive for a back-to-back, or it's time for Philippines to bring in the medal. But you can see Bingay again with the shuriken toss. We saw him last night. He really did play on that Akali up against, I believe that was the Jace of BMM or Garen. So assassin mid laner, we're letting loose Bingay today.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from what we've seen in game 1 and game 2. And as you've mentioned, it was the Garen and the Jace prior. But at this point, I think perspective of the Philippines wants to go all in when it comes to the damage aspect of this lineup. And on this draft, they have the frontliners already secured on the farm of Nazarea and the Riven, and Angara with the Gragas. So it is not bad overall in this draft for Team Philippines.
Yeah, we saw a bit of a delay for Angara onto that roam. He stayed a bit and waited for Genza to overextend and punish him by burning the flash. But this time around, it was Nazarea being pressured, but we know that he is a good shock absorber as well. Took a bit of a time, but Angara is already there. But with that being said, the flash has been burned. Genza has been left out to dry and use his barrier as well. So the pressure is on. Dahao is doing a great job on pressuring this Karma.
Right now, you have Taku and Akano here on top side as well. Nazarea looking for that angle. The taunt is there, the double man, the Taku follow up, slice and dice. Double man stun as well for Nazarea with a flash to retreat, but will not be enough. The ignite will take Taku down, and the kill will be secured by Angara. Now looking for another perspective as Akano is running away. The chase is there from Angara, flashing away to retreat. Y1 is catching up. The launch is there with the repose, and that will be the finishing blow and a 2-for-2.
Good play for Y1. He reposted the body slam, but still, you already have the early advantage coming in from Nazarea and Genza. Try to go on par with Dahao, but that's not how you're not going to win because Tan is there.
A little bit of an overextension coming in for the side of Team Vietnam in the bottom lane for Genza, especially since Tan already shot a shock blast in the bottom lane that gave information for Genza at that point. So it was a bit risky play from Genza at that point to overextend way beyond the turret.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't expect. That's why I already took the wheel on explaining. But then, why does Genza... They still wanted to go into Dahao, despite of having the information that Shock Blast is present, the Tan is around, and he isn't a bit far after a few seconds of launching that blast.
Yeah, and right now, the stun coming from Nazarea, followed up by the body slam as well. Explosive Fast is there, and Tan is coming here to play. Akano is trying to run, no more flash, and that will be Philippines. Will be able to take the support down.
From bottom to top, we are experiencing once again Tan's Jace. Looking for the target. They are ahead in kills, but BMM Gatling gun into the face.
1v1. Dahao with the exhaust actually slows down BMM and forcing out the flash to retreat, and overall no casualty. However, Y1 is there in the bottom lane as well. If ever Dahao overextends, and that is it from what we have stated. But on the opposite side of the map, it is Angara that is very low as well, with Vietnam looking to pin him down. Angara running away, but this will be a kill for Akano in the end.
He is trying to give it to Genza, but with how he wanted to go for the execution, definitely Akano needs to secure that kill. And here comes Vietnam fighting back with some overcommitment issues from Philippines.
Yeah, and regardless, even if Genza did not get the kill, she was still able to get that assist. So overall, it's not the worst case scenario with Akano being able to take that kill down. Right now, at the moment, it is a 5-4 kill standing for Vietnam. And looking at the bottom side, we're in Dahao was killed by Y1 with initial setup coming in from the smite to slow down the movement speed of Dahao in the bottom lane.
You can clearly see how Philippines right now is overextending.
Look at
They
that.
are
High feed.
staying so much.
It's Bingai who's being targeted, and that's just a two-man roll from Vietnam to be able to secure that kill. An amazing play coming for the side of Team Vietnam overall.
Yeah, and Vietnam, they are on a roll. They are the ones who's making sure that they're getting a lot of these skills early on. And this might be the momentum that they need. This might be the shift that they were waiting for.
Oh, nice guy coming in for the side of Team Philippines as well. No escape coming in from BMM. Has used already the Valkyrie. The flash is on cooldown. So nowhere to hide. Now Akino used up the flash, coming to engage, looking for that perspective. And Akino is gone with the raw damage from Team PH. And now the Rift Herald spawn in the mid lane as well, attempting to take that tower for his blood. And the Shuriken flip is there for Bingai. But the Rift Herald in the end will be able to secure the turret in the mid lane. But at the cost of someone's life in the bottom lane as well, with Philippines putting pressure up against Team Vietnam.
And they already respected the possibility of already not getting this. But Tan, once again, they need to be disciplined there. They are losing a lot of those small skirmishes. And that's the reason why Vietnam is already on par with them. They are onto the 7-7. But what's good about this is creating a lot of pressure onto the bottom lane. Gained a lot of attention that gives a Bingai an opening to get a bit of those turret platings.
Yeah. And the thing is,
yeah,
like regardless of having this equalize the series, I think Vietnam is currently on the lead, which is a good thing for them if they want to make it back.
Yeah, and despite of that, them losing those kills, the objective trading is really good for Vietnam. This time, with the Rift Herald into their hands, they're getting they got the early tower. And they are also the ones who's roaming around easily. It was up to them to set the tempo. But Philippines, they have their own answer. They're focusing the Dragon lane. And with that being said, it's still anyone's game. And Vietnam is leading onto the gold.
Yeah, and you still have the potential. If Dao is able to build onto the Rabadon's Death Cap, and then later on in that stage, where in Nazarea also has the second and third item coming through, that is going to be a huge deal. And right now, though, Taku is going to dive onto Bingai, forcing out the flash with a perfect execute, will not be able to escape. And now Team Philippines will lose 2 of their members to attempt on that defense in the bottom lane. And Vietnam is currently on the lead with another turret in their favor.
This is the Vietnam team that we are waiting for. They are exploding. They are looking for those dives again and again, applying pressure, and this is the mid lane cost. As when they lost a tower, it's more freedom for them to swing from bottom to top lane. And with the late game insurance, there's no late game potential for Philippines. I mean, yes, you have the Zoe, but once a shutdown, you're going to have a hard time compared to Vietnam. You have Renekton, you have also Corki's missiles.
Yeah, and Corki at this point building already onto the Triforce, and that will put out huge amount of damage later on when it comes to team fights, especially when it comes to like having the package as well, which has the potential to turn things around if it comes down to a 5v5 overall. Right now though, Nazarea looking for the chase onto Taku. Tan is here as well. Gara is there to play, and now forcing out the dominance immediately to stay alive a bit longer, but will not be enough as that is 3 members from Team Philippines looking for that kill. Now the backup is there, as you stated. The Zakano is there to play. Y1 is there as well, forcing out the flash retreat from Angara, and Nazarea is still here as Dahao comes here into fray. Nazarea looking for the stun. The flash is burned by Akino in that fight. Coming back once again, a counter engage with a taunt. Nazarea is in danger, but 3-man stun from Nazarea turn things around, and that will be the win for Philippines from that clash.
I'm not sure if that's a 3-man body slam or the broken wings from Nazarea, but definitely there's a space created with a 3-man taunt from that Galio, but a pixel onto the side for them to set up their own knockup. Let's check the replay. Is it the body slam? Is it the broken wings?
I think
it's a bit... I was expecting the body slam because Angara was staying onto the left side. He baited them They are sitting onto the right side. See the Drunken Rage. He's faced out on the left side.
Oh, it's
That's
both.
the body
It's
slam. It's both. Oh my goodness. I thought Three-Man has been taunt by Akeno and it was a losing fight. But that space that they missed is an opening for the Philippines to open their wounds.
Yeah, it was Angara's massive body slam, then followed up by Nazarea. It was just flawless for the side of Team Philippines at this point. However, the death rush being set up by Vietnam at this point.
Infernal Drake.
Taku though receiving the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Has to sleep for a bit, but will wake up just immediately right after. Infernal Drake now being started by Team Vietnam. No information by Team Philippines here. They have to face check as Angara is there on the forefront of this fight. But the taunt is there for Makino, but you can't stay alive for long as that will be the damage of being in the rip. Genza is gone. This is a 3v5. Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Renekton and Saku will get eviscerated. And now they're jumping over the hill. The ace will be secured by Team Philippines.
And they are going to knock into the heaven's door of mid lane. This is a possible 2 towers. Estan will be busy on taking down Infernal Drake. There's no Baron yet, but the first ace will be delivered in 11 minutes. And the pressure is on as Vietnam needs to catch up. They are letting loose Dahao with all of those Battlestar.
Yeah, and from a huge goal deficit a while ago for the side of Team Philippines, they have turned things around from just 2 fights alone, now sitting at a 4k gold lead with 2 buffs of dragons in their favor. In Osiris, this is the pinnacle of Philippines' power.
And you can definitely see how Philippines right now is taking control and Vietnam is losing grip to Game Tree to keep the dream alive, to go for the back-to-back gold, as the gold medalist from previous year right now is being stand up. The standoff between these 2 teams will be coming into an end as they are being methodical to each other. May not be the end, but still a huge play from Philippines to change the pace of the game. We expected that this is the shift gears from Vietnam, but Philippines isn't going to let that happen as we are seeing good items from them to deliver more damage.
Yeah. However, in that perspective, it's not over until it's over because right now we have 3 items already built onto Y1 now. The reptile spawn in the bottom lane. Team Philippines is going in to go for the gank. Diving under, the Shrint will not pursue. Shuriken Flip is there as well. Angara is on the face here in this fight. But look at Taku looking for the chase onto one. The Stace is immediately actually casted out by Nazarea, followed up by the dash away to the 3. So much mobility, so much fancy footwork being spawned up, and now Dahao jumps into play with a Sleepy Trouble Bubble that buys time for the rest of the crew to go and support. But Akino jumps in into the backside, goes for the taunt. 2 people already down for Team Philippines.
This should be a Baron
Vietnam is here not just to play but to win.
They are dominating, and that's what you've mentioned, Infinity. It's not over until it's over, as the comeback will be coming in with a full circle. They are moving in to the Baron, and we know how good Vietnam in terms of Baron play, and they are going in and going hard.
They're diving in. They want to contest the Baron Nashor, and now Nazarea into the backside will be able to produce a lot of damage and a lot of CCs. Taku will fall down. TV is coming right in. Dahao is coming into play, and that will force Vietnam to go back and run for the hills.
And Sleepy Bubble Trouble isn't going to hit, but the pressure is on after that teleport. They are well aware that they need to surrender the Baron, and they're not going to let that happen. As Vietnam, with the bodies that has been dropped, no Taku, no Bingay, there should be a good reset for the Baron. They were able to fend off, and with the huge wave building all across the board, this is a good reset. 13-17 in just 14 minutes. This is a hell of a fight.
Yeah, it is really, really difficult for both sides right now. It is not a clear state of who will win this specific game, as Vietnam is able to punch back and forth consistently, have toe-to-toe, even level playing field up against Philippines despite their goal deficit into this game. And so far, the Baron Nashor is still up, is still not being initiated by any of these 2 teams. I think one team fight can define the whole game number 3.
Slowly but surely, Vietnam is going back, putting themselves back onto the board, composing themselves, and after winning that last part and wasn't really able to convert that into a Baron, but you can see the discipline right now. No one wants to overboard. No one wants to face check alone. But this might be a
The mid
different
lane.
story onto the mid lane.
TP Trouble Bubble onto Y1, cancels it out with the riposte. So no
Shuriken.
follow-up from Team Philippines, and the Shuriken flip will just be there. No push through by Bingay, as that will be quite a risky play, and so far they will not force for any engage.
They are pinging in the Baron. This might be a high risk, high reward if ever. Philippines wants to go in, but they just want to control the wave. They are being patient. They don't want mistakes being punished as early on. 25 seconds before the next dragon, and this might be the third dragon of Philippines, moving closer to an Exodia to complete all of the objectives that they need. But the package will be present to BMM, and this might be a huge factor to consider.
Yeah, and as you have mentioned, the Mountain Drake is now up. The reason why we're seeing resets coming from every single player of both these teams, and right now though Vietnam has the position advantage. If Tan goes for the face check, this could be an opening for Team Vietnam to engage, but will not do so. So for Mountain
He
Drake,
knows,
will
and
be
once again,
reset.
the minimap, you can check that Nazarea is creating once again a huge distraction. He is good at it. They are letting loose the shock blast as they are aware they don't have any wards. This might be the fight infinity.
Akino going for the flash, but it just responds, knocks up onto Tan. Why want to follow through? Knocks back with it to the skies, but that's not enough as the jungler for Team Philippines will fall. This is a huge deficit for them, and now the CP Troubles Bubble will connect onto Y1. The crane back will be secured. Taco in the front lines though will be the sponge for Team Vietnam, but the access into the back lines, it is Nazarea, but will fall right after with the damage of Vietnam.
Oh,
This is a 4-for-2 trade with Vietnam taking it back.
And you can see Vietnam with that single play make change the tides of the game. They're not letting Angara go home. It's Genza and BMM wanted to take the second tier tower onto the dragon lane, playing with fire. You can see Angara with his fancy footwork. They're going to stop. They just want this dragon, and this will not be the third dragon for the Philippines, as Vietnam did a great job on fending off. Once again, a few trades onto the kills, but the objective is being focused.
Yeah, and so far this is a really amazing play coming in from Vietnam, and yes, they are still on a goal deficit, but this is signs of life that they can take it back. As from what we have stated a while ago, it is not over until it's over. They have BMM in their roster. They have Corki in the play. So much damage will be in the form of the mid laner of Team Vietnam in this game.
Yeah, and with that being said, Infinity, I believe that you need to use the cask onto hostage or kidnap BMM, despite of having the package. It was a pretty good split onto that dragon fight, but we need more pressure to look for the carries or the damagers of Vietnam, because Bingay right now, he is having a hard time executing any of those, as Genza is well aware and wanted to put a leash onto Bingay whenever he's going in. So Nazarea with one good flank, as what we've seen from all of those previous fights, that's the only opening that you can make sure to maximize.
And right now, Akino is in charge of this fight, going
They're
for the
baiting.
stuns and the taunts onto Angara as well. But look at that,
this is a good
explosive
target.
gas isolating onto Genza, and Genza forcing out the stasis enchant as well to buy time. And that will indeed buy a bit more time for Vietnam to retreat and go for a different perspective. The mid
tower.
lane is open for them to push down. The tier 2 turret will be secured by Y1.
They are being cut off. Nazarea, what are you going to do? Are you going for the hard engage? Two of the members from Philippines needs to go back and go for a full reset, same as Vietnam, but this might be a good cancel, as launching on the shock blast, and Angara was so close on making that play.
Yeah, and so for everyone will reset just because the Elder Drake is alive. This will be the winning conditions for both sides. If they take it down, they will have the advantage of getting the buff of the Elder Drake with the potential to execute every single member of the opposing side. So such a huge objective now on the line and up and running in the Rift.
Yes, and this will be really good to any of the team's competition because Y1E is snowballing hard on that Fiora, and gaining that Elder Drake would be an easy task
Set
to
up,
first
set up.
anyone. The same as Dan, just a sponge. He needs to blow his flash. And definitely, I believe that was also the Edge of Night.
But the package also burned out by BMM will not be able to use that in 4 minutes or 5 minutes to come. So far, that is not as bad of a trade, but a Flash of Tan is burned out, so a huge Summoner Spell burned by Vietnam up against Team Philippines at this point. It's a little bit play of a tag your it in the Elder
Back and
Dragon's
forth.
pit.
So they are looking for... They are going in
Here we
Infinity.
go, the Justice Punch along with the Flash. Goes to connect onto Chan, but an immediate punish as Daha will be gone. The jungler of Team Philippines will be next as GA will be popped, but two of the members of Team Vietnam is steadily waiting. Now the Elder Drake is open for Vietnam to take down. Angara is there though to buy time and get that information, but you see Nazaré now pushing in the mid lane along with Dingay. This is a perspective that they want. Even if they lose the Elder Drake, they still have value in their favor. And right now though, Akano is attempting to delay the recalls, is denying the retreat from Team Philippines. Dingay has to run. BMM is here to do it, and that will be the kill for Vietnam.
Walking to the park as Nazaré, accompanied by Y1, but oh, that huge minions was able to take him down. The grand challenge, but you know, highly mobile Riven is, and they are starting the Baron.
That's a really good situation right now for Team Philippines at this point, with the Baron Nashor being secured by Vietnam. This is the turnaround that they're looking for. This could be the very first game that they win in this very last series in a gold medal matchup. But so far, it is not over until it's over. The consistent phrase that we keep on talking about with the sustained back and forth from both these teams.
Indeed, I strongly agree on you on that one because everyone thought it was the Philippines onto the upper hand, but they are showing, Vietnam is showing the reason why they are the previous gold medalists, for the reason that they bring in the fight. BMM and Genza definitely remain untouched with all of the damage that they are dealing. Instead, the Battlestar not making of a merch work because there's a lot of openings for Y1 to just dive in to take down Dahao again and again.
It's just a very dangerous position right now for Team Philippines. Their last hope to defend the Nexus is here, but Vietnam is focused on the Nexus, as that will be the first game that Vietnam will secure in a gold medal matchup.
No 3-0 for today as